So a really early start this morning. We got up at 2:30, heading through to the farm now. The risk of the day before the rhino dehorning is that the rhino's horns are the longest that they'll get. So there's the highest risk of them getting poached. It's going to be a really long day, but we're really excited about it.
Everything is in favour of the poachers during full moon because they can move undetected. They can come in and out of the property without having any lights on whatsoever, so that is a big security risk for us. So we keep high visibility. Poachers never even bother to come into the place, as we just did fence line runs with our spotlights going and our lights on. We're not trying to catch these guys, we're trying to keep them out, full stop. That's a big part of our security measures, is that it's really unattractive for poachers to poach here.
Looking for a second and then it becomes stressful with females.
So it's about 6 o'clock. We've been out here since about 4, just preparing to do horn reductions on some white rhinos today. And the wind is pumping, so it's really not ideal conditions, but we have managed to find all our target animals for today. So when the vet arrives in about an hour, then hopefully all the rhinos are here and we can work them from the ground. Not a good day for using a helicopter. Just collected a sample of rhino dung. This is to test stress levels pre and post dehorning. There's so much management going into rhinos these days that they want to understand how much stress is involved before and after they're dehorned.
I'm Howard, I'm a rhino conservationist and a proud conservationist. The big thing from our side is just be careful. We're working with wild animals, especially if you do a cow's got a calf, that calf will come back and is going to want to charge. So just be aware of your situations. I'll let Heinrich explain the rest to you guys.
I'm Dr. Heinrich Volkroff. I'm a wildlife veterinarian. I'm going to put in the first dart. The animal's going to go down, probably going to go down on its side. First things what we're going to do is we're going to put a blindfold on. Start with some reversal drugs so the respiration gets better, and then we'll probably ask a bunch of you guys to help us roll it back onto its sternum, onto its chest. So just be aware of the chainsaws and everything. Like Howard said, it is very dangerous.
He's going to need as much space, he's going to need communication with us, just so don't block the channels of communication. If someone shouts at you, don't get offended. This is a high pressure situation. They've moved off.
We darted the first rhino and he took off like a freight train, which was really unexpected. And because of the amount of wind today, the helicopter's not up. Normally they'd have a helicopter up just for this eventuality. So we're busy trying to track him at the moment. We're trying to find his tracks. There's a huge risk now, because if he lies down in the wrong way after he's been tranquilized and the vet's not there to administer an antidote, there's a chance that he can die. He can actually suffocate, because the weight of the rhino is so much that he can actually crush his own lungs and he won't be able to breathe. So it's very frantic now. Obviously, Niall and the vet and the owner of the rhinos are in a real state.
Go down to the edge of Buffalo Camp. Go down to the edge.
You know, you hate to do it.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing. You absolutely hate to dehorn the things. But what do you do? We don't have a choice anymore. It seems to be the only thing that is not stopping poaching, but it's definitely helping with the poaching. You know, every second day when we split the horns on the rhinos, I mean, we were getting weekly incursions. Since we've dehorned, it's been quiet, thankfully.
I'm just waiting for the rhino to wake up. He's been down for quite a while. First one is always a bit of a mission. The weather conditions have affected their temperament today, made them extra nervous. So we're just waiting for him to wake up and then we're going to get on vehicle.
Darted the rhino from the vehicle, got lost in the bush, jumped into a helicopter, found him again. You guys were tracking, well done on that. And yeah, once he was brought down, we dehorned him. Overall, a success, but yeah, pretty stressful.
Rock was next, the dominant male rhino in the reserve. His sheer size presented an intimidating figure as we approached. It's incredible to be so close to a 2.5 ton animal, but it's tragic to be taking their horns. Now we're just hovering over the third. It just sounds like the dart bounced out, and they're gonna re-dart her. With this wind, it's changing how the dart is flying out of the chopper. So it's actually, yeah, this weather is causing all sort of problems. Even heavily sedated, this young lady doesn't go down easily. The vet has had to increase the dosage to finally get her down. Shame, look at her trembling. This is a female with a calf. The baby's about 6 months old and he's going to want to defend his mother fiercely, so... Okay guys, just be careful, there's a baby involved, alright? So yeah, we're going to have to be super careful and just be respectful of the baby. Probably going to upset it quite a bit, but it's just the nature of what we need to do. Hopefully everything goes well, I think it will. Yeah, just watch the baby.
Ear protection as well, please.
She's got the ear protection. Copy that. All right, we need to just jump, 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 jump. All right, just keep the baby off. Just keep an eye on the baby. Okay, keep eyes on. Watch the baby.
Calves are very defensive of their mothers, so even though the baby rhino is very small, he'll still charge at you and he can still do a lot of damage. He'll still break your legs quite easily. But we've managed to scare him off. It's not a nice thing to have to do. You know, none of this is nice to have to do. The animals go through a lot of trauma, but the bottom line is a little bit of trauma is a lot better than having them poached.
Yeah. The chopper's just gone to look for the calf now, and we're going to try and get them back together as quickly as possible. That connection with its mom hasn't been broken before, and we've just separated them, so we're going to push them back together as quickly as possible. So she might charge us, okay? Come on, Mama. Come on. Hey, Mama. Come on. Driving like a madman. Try and get to this rhino. The dart is in. Reductions went really well on this one. We were super happy and we just want to see her up again and off into the bush. Very sad to remove the horns, but successful in the fact that it's going to keep them safe for another 18 months. Come. Gavin, move. Yeah, a poached rhino right now. Thanks, bro. That's the wrap for now. Yeah. Beeping.
The work is not over yet. Another day to go and another 5 rhino.
Hi guys, I'm Gavin Knott. Second day of dehorning. We've got 5 more rhinos to do today, so hope it all goes well. Last time went all well and hoping for the same today. Stay tuned.
Heartbeat or something, so just be aware.
Just about to start our second round of horn reductions. The vet has just flown over our first rhino, put the dart in, and we're waiting to be called forward. This female has a 6-month-old, so we just need to make sure that he is safe and we are safe. Whoa! Watch yourself!
Done 2 out of 5 rhinos for today. It's going very well so far. Hopefully we keep it nice and smooth. It's really sad that we have to do this to these rhinos. You can see they're not completely knocked out. It's not like a normal tranquilizer which puts an animal completely to sleep. They're still semi-conscious, and that's why they react as the horn is getting cut off. You can see them moving their faces.
Dart is in.
Okay, copy that, Howard. Dart is in. It's such an adrenaline-filled operation that it's really good to have this many people together operating and things going so well, and there's like a community around the rhinos that are getting the job done really well today. So that feeling of working together to get this operation done really well and professionally, I'm enjoying that. Right, we're going to push forward to try and get this next animal. And the nerves set in again. So we just try and keep an eye on the helicopter, that's our indication.
So you guys can come.
Copy that, Howard. Follow the road. Okay, a visual. To have them all done now, coming into the next full moon period, and the horns are completely reduced. Yeah, it's going to be, I think it'll set in the next full moon period. I'm sad for them in the way that that this is what they have to go through, but we see how quickly they go back to normal. Within a couple of hours they go back to normal and they go back to their routine, and that makes me happy. It's because we're always worried about the level of impact, and in the current state of things, and with poaching being such a massive problem, this is what we have to do, a necessary evil.
Thank you.
This is it for the 2020 horn reduction. Trying to find a word to describe that procedure we've just finished, and thinking from start to finish it's quite intrusive. It's from the helicopter chasing the rhinos down to the chainsaws, all these angry sounds. So yeah, it kind of gets after a certain number of them, you're switched off from how hectic it is, and you just focus on just trying to get the job done, because if you're to focus on how harsh every activity is that we're doing, from the helicopter to the chainsaw to the grinder to the drugs to tripping them to getting a blindfold on them, yeah, it's a scary time for an animal. But these things are resilient. Thankfully, rhinos are resilient. We have been looking around at it, people trying to see how everyone's feeling, and you can see that people are kind of, while we're doing the chainsaw and while we're grinding, there's barely anybody talking except the vet and the guys giving the stats on the animal. So it kind of shows you in that moment people are acknowledging how heavy a procedure this is for an animal, to lose its main tool for its survival while it's out in the bush. So yeah, I'm acknowledging that silence by everybody and taking it as they are connecting with how serious dehorning rhinos is for the species. But they also understand why we're doing it, in order to make sure that we have rhinos on private properties in the future and on public land.